and welcome to the 7th edition of the Economic Times Asian Business Leaders Conclave 2023. I'm your host, Isha Bhalla, and it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all with our all-new theme, the Asian Century, Creating a New World Order. Asia today is poised to assume its position as the world's growth engine. It is both the continent with the largest continental economy and the fastest expanding economic area in the world. Asian businesses are on the cusp of a new era, to which they significantly contribute. But as the global economy faces challenging times, businesses and leaders have to reinvent their strategies to keep themselves ahead of the curve. We bring to you a platform to better understand how businesses and leaders from various industries can collaborate to realize the vision of making Asia a true global business destination. So let us look forward to this spectacular day with various keynote addresses, speakers from across the globe joining us, along with interactive sessions. Thank you so very much for joining us. We'd like to begin today's conclave on a very, very special note. Vasudev Kutumbakam, collaborative efforts for a shared future of Asia. And who better than the visionary himself, who not only believes in the collaborative efforts for a better India, but of Asia and of the world. It is such a privilege to present to you Honorable Shri Jyotiraditya M. Scindia ji, Union Minister of Civil Aviation and Steel, Government of India, an alumni of Harvard University and Stanford University, USA. Shri Scindia has also worked at United Nations and as an investment banker at Morgan Stanley and Merrill Lynch before joining his political roles. He's passionate about education and is a part of various educational centers and bodies working towards the betterment of the country. He truly is somebody who has transformed the civil aviation industry and steel industry of the country. It is a pleasure as I present to you Shri Jyotiraditya M. Scindia ji, our chief guest.
First of all, let me welcome all the delegates present at this Economic Times Asian Business Leaders Conclave. We are amidst one of the most challenging times in the history of humankind. A lot has been upended, and the world is calling for a new order. The West is in a dizzying tailspin. Europe continues to struggle with a war that has put a question mark on the global economic and social order, while also dealing with the issues of climate change alongside with this challenge. And therefore, I believe that this conference could not have taken place at a better time. It is the time of churn. I must applaud this platform for bringing some of the finest business minds to make sense of the present world and seek solutions for a common, shared and sustainable future. There is no doubt that our future calls for a reinvention across the spectrum. It needs a deeper consideration of the needs of all humankind and a collaborative and inclusive approach to commerce and business. I strongly believe that this reinvention can and will originate from the land of the world's earliest civilizations, Asia. We in Asia belong to a region that has pioneered many practices that have been integral to societies for centuries, from agriculture to urban planning, from art to the tradition of textile making. That's the Asia of the past. But contemporary Asia too presents a diverse range of opportunities. A continent that resides over 4.5 billion people, or about 60% of the world's population, and also has the power to influence the rest of the world. There is enough proof of that. At the time when the world was scrambling to survive the COVID pandemic, Asia grew at 4.2%, which will rise to 4.6% in the current fiscal. If we go deeper into the economic parameters of Asia, we see that it has a global footprint, a footprint that has seen an incremental rise. In 2000, Asia accounted for 32% of the global GDP in terms of purchasing power parity. This share increased to 42% in 2017 and is on course to clock 52% by 2040. These trends will run on the back of a young population which is well connected to new technological developments and one that has the proclivity to explore, experiment, and lead. There is an age-old proverb, and I quote, "The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now," unquote. If there is one country that will live up to this mantra, it is India, a nation where millions are for the first time encountering social upliftment, a new consumer class is proliferating, enterprises are being built on new technologies. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, 8.5 years ago, the country embarked upon a growth journey of Atmanirbharta. With the vision of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we assumed the G20 presidency. And today, we are playing a greater role in giving a voice to the nations of the global south. With this resolve, during the COVID-19 crisis, when the world saw boundaries and borders closing, India invented 2 vaccines and supplied it to more than 150 countries across the world. In the recent Turkey earthquake crisis, India was one of the first nations to respond with supply of relief materials through our Operation Dost initiative. Economically, India has risen to become the 5th largest economy in the world. Also on the domestic front, India has seen massive structural policy shifts. The foremost in this is the empowerment of the private sector. We have done away with redundant processes, made it easier for the sector to flourish, and to even partner with the government. The number of startups have jumped from 452 in 2016 to 84,012 in 2022. Our ease of doing business ranking has risen from 142 in 2014 to 63 today. FDI has reached an all-time high. Infrastructure, for instance, a sector whose potential in the larger economic story was left untapped for a long period of time, has seen a tectonic transformation where it has become the mainstay of our economic blueprint. This includes every sector, right from railways to logistics to airports and so on and so forth. Metro, for instance, a facility that was available only in the 5 big cities till 2014, is now functional in 20 cities. Our power capacity has increased from 210 gigawatts in 2012 to over 410 gigs in 2022. The pace of construction of roads has seen a monumental change from 12 kilometers a day to 40 kilometers a day in the last 9 years. While this growth has left no sector behind, the civil aviation sector in particular has seen a 180-degree change in its functioning. We have moved from being an elite industry to becoming a sector that is for the people, by the people, and of the people, truly democratized in every form. हवाई चप्पल पहनने वाला भी हवाई जहाज में यात्रा करे. The Prime Minister's mantra has been followed through, and we have doubled the number of airports, waterdromes, and heliports from 74 in 2014 to 148 at last count on the 27th of February of this year. Our count of daily domestic passengers has breached the pre-pandemic level to over 4.4 lakhs on an average, thus proving that the sector is set to expand massively and will be a key component in the realization of the vision of an Atmanirbhar Bharat. In January 2023, India hosted the Voice of the Global South Summit, where Prime Minister Modi ji called for all nations to come together with a unity of voice and a unity of purpose, to work to remove inequalities, to increase opportunities and support. On this note, I wish you all fruitful deliberations to help devise solutions that will help build peace, progress, and prosperity. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so very much, Shri Jyotiraditya M. Scindia ji, for being a part of the conclave as our chief guest. It has been so very enlightening listening in.